Mr. Bola Akindele. He's the Group Managing Director of Quartville Business Solutions. He's a banker and accountant and also one-time bank examiner. Good morning and thanks for joining us.
Good morning. Thanks for having me.
And a whole lot is happening. You know, we have the JP Morgan, talk about Nigeria. We have the TSA, but this latest one from the CBN. Yesterday we were talking with Agbaji. He's also of the view that, it seems that the CBN is on course giving us this early warning. But for someone like Bismarck Irwani, he thinks that, we still have some positive, in nature of the economy for the year, looking at the indices he's been able to point out. What's your reading of the state? Are we headed for a recession or not?
Well, it is what it is. It's a warning.
It is what it is.
It is what it is. It's a warning, and I believe very, strongly that it might just be the last. It might bottom out this time for this last quarter, and hopefully we start going back up after this last quarter. The essence is that over the past 6 quarters or thereabouts, nothing has really happened in the real sector. The last 6 quarters have seen us working essentially without much investment. Most of the funding, most of the liquidity, has gone towards funding elections, funding posters, memorabilia, and all that. And with that, you cannot expect that much will have gone in the way of real, sector investment or funding of that part of the economy. And that is what we are seeing now. A drop from, middle of last year from about 6.2 to 2.6 this time. It's quite huge. I do not see a recession coming, really, because now that the elections are over, ministers hopefully will come in soon. Everybody will settle down to do the work. The $1.5 billion cash lying in bank vaults, hopefully, will start doing something. Because that is essentially almost a month FAC allocation across all these 3 tiers of government, 1 month. And when we go back to producing, maybe the economy will be reactivated, reinflated, and then we start moving back towards growth. It's not a recession until it is about at least 2 straight quarters of negative growth, usually. Mm-hmm. We've not had negative growth. We've not had that. It's slow growth. It's a warning. We have to reverse what we have been doing. So,
but you have observed that in the first 2 quarters, we have not done much. Even in this quarter, can you say because September marks the end of the 3rd quarter, and then we begin the 4th quarter from October, where quite a number of people will say we don't really do much when it's coming towards the end of the year. You find that business are wrapping up and trying to strategize for the next business year, and it's time for spending, really, in terms of getting ready for the festive periods. This is part of it, as it were. Do you really see us doing much again towards the end of the year, considering how much we've done so far for the better part of this year?
I'll tell you this, as a businessman, and what I've seen in my own business is the fact that we have, it's not just the last 2 quarters. It's been since the middle of last year. Nothing has happened except the elections. Nothing for us is expected to happen for 2015. It's already gone. So we are preparing very hard, hoping that we'll hit the ground running from January 2016. By the time the ministers come in, I don't even see anybody, I've not heard anybody talking much about the 2015 budget, either released or worked on or whatever. And the 3rd quarter has ended, essentially. The last quarter, as you said, essentially goes towards preparing for the festive season. There isn't money to spend. Even if money starts coming in, it is going to take some time for us to have the effects on the real sector.
That's why the CBN governor is worried, because if you say that you expect that things will pewter out in this particular season or in this particular quarter, is that expectation realistic, considering that we still have 2 more quarters where growth might slow a bit further, or that's if it doesn't even go flat out to negative before the end of this year? Do you see that happening?
No. I expect that with the ministers coming in, with policies coming up, with reflation of the economy through liquidity, coming in, we should see some positives. I do not think we will fall into a recession. I think this will be the last quarter. That's the fourth quarter. Should be the last, of this slow, growth. We won't go negative.
What indices are you seeing that are giving you this optimism?
Well, I work in the real sector. I know government is owing my company. I know they plan to pay. I know they will pay. I know liquidity will improve going forward. Now, everybody is being careful as to what you do with government money or whoever, anybody's money for that matter. And I expect that by the end of 2015, we all will know that it's gone, it's gone. 2016, budget comes in early. We start working very early.
Well, you will still have the issues of dwindling oil prices because there's no guarantee that the prices will go back up to the point where we can say, okay, we're back to a safe zone.
Yes, I'm a private sector operator. I do not really depend as a businessman. I know that the oil prices should affect me, so I've arranged my system, my budget, to take account of the fact that we will not expect too much in that area, from that area. And every other thing, the private sector has to work hard to ginger the economy back to what it has to be. We cannot always depend on what government earns to be able to do things. And that is the way I see it.
Mr. Akindele, sorry. Yesterday we had Mr. Gbade here that talked about the private sector being the one that is actually right now seemingly moving the economy forward, pushing, it's like pushing a cart. But you're saying that the private sector has to work hard.
Yeah.
Are the conditions right for the private sector to work hard? They're working hard now, but let's use the word to work hard. Are the conditions right? I'll give you an example. The interest rates are still high. CBN is talking of a recession. So are these conditions right for the private sector?
The policies will mark what we do in the next set of quarters. And as we speak, as of now, they may not be so obvious. But I expect when all the structures are in place, when you all have your ministries to run and the people in charge, I expect that they will know what to do in their various areas. For me, it is very important for us to understand that the private sector can actually be that side of the economy to ginger growth. The Chinese economy grew, and what it is because of the government. The Indian economy has grown, and is what it is, despite the government. It could be from the private sector, and we can grow.
You know what I'm trying... I want us to go back and look at some of those indices pointed out after the MPR. It was retained at 31%. Yeah, 13%. Yeah. So but the CR was slashed from 31 to 25%. Yeah. This must definitely be signaling something.
Yes, it is. It's going to be tough in terms of getting stuff, liquidity funding out of the banks. Now, I calculated it in my head, and I know that whichever way you look at it, taking out money through the TSA and returning money back to the banks through this slash in CRR and then refunding that extra coming, I estimate will just put back about 35% of whatever is taken out through TSA back into the banks. Already, those of us small and medium-sized businesses already are going through this with the banks. There is really nothing that you can give to the bank that they will, for now, actually support as much. They go after the big companies. They fund them, they give them what they want. I have to struggle with my own liquidity internally. And we've done this well. We've almost perfected our own art in terms of being able to find our ways through this. We will continue to do that. So getting through to the banks may not be the way. The liquidity will become tighter going forward. But we do not know what will come in with all the leakages blocked, with all the seriousness that should come in when those that hold government funds know that they have to work with them. when everyone knows that every single naira that you find on the street will probably have a story of some hard work behind it. When we know that it's only those that actually have worked, or done something, or produced something, that will have naira in their hands. And this should be something that should encourage us to know that we will.